You're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
All right, everyone, and here we are with that interview that we were just talking about. We are here talking with a Tampa Bay Rowdy. It is Cristian Ortiz, one of the youngest members of the team and one of the newest signings as well. So, Cristian, how are you doing in this very hot month of August where you spent, well, I guess you were in Mexico in July, but either way, how are you doing now?
Everything's good now. Yeah, I'm glad to be home.
Yeah, I can imagine it was probably, it's always good to get back home after a trip, regardless of what it was. But yeah, so we wanted to have you on this week to talk about not only your time with the Rowdies, but most specifically because it was just going on, but the CONCACAF Under-20 Championship where the Dominican Republic took part, and you were a member of the Dominican Republic team there. So I wanted to discuss that with you. I am super into international soccer, as I'm sure everyone listening knows, but I wanted to talk with you about that because I'm sure it was a very cool experience. Before we get into that, though, let's get a little bit of background about you, and I'll just ask you, if you could, for anyone who doesn't know, generally what your background is. I believe you were born in New York and then came down here. Could you go through that for all of our listeners?
Yeah, of course. I was born in Westchester County, New York, and then I moved down to Florida, Spring Hill, Florida, and when I was about 7 years old. And then after that, I kind of just found Florida Premier, and I started playing. I started playing there.
And Florida Premier, if I'm not mistaken, that is where Andres Arango is coaching right now, because we had an interview with him last season or 2 seasons ago, whenever it was, about his coaching there.
Yeah, and Georgie. We all, yeah.
No.
It's a big Rowdies family.
Good Rowdies contingent over there, for sure. For sure. Cristian, I know, like you said, you were playing Florida Premier. You made your way to the Rowdies eventually. I know we talked about this actually at one of your trainings. It's been a little bit. We talked briefly about what that's been like, making that transition to the pro world. Can you just, I think there's a lot of people that might not really grasp how big of a deal that is, right? I mean, you go from the academy, training with the team, to fully signing a professional contract after being an academy contract kid.
Yeah.
You're not just, the new kid on the block, not just kind of like me and James. I like to jokingly refer as to the academy contracts as the interns at the team.
Right.
No longer an intern, but a full-time guy, contributor to the team, truly like a member of this squad. What's that transition been like? I know that's got to be kind of a good challenge, but tell me a little bit about how exciting or, challenging, nerve-wracking, whatever the emotions that go with that have been.
No, it's honestly, at first it was a little bit, I was nervous, but I think that as time went on, and I say even a couple of days after I signed it, it's the same as an academy contract now. I just, I'm an actual pro now, and I have to take responsibility and pride in everything I do on and off the pitch. So I think that it definitely is. It's a little bit different, but it's the same mindset,
Yeah, for sure. I know that's been, I mean, now we can't say you're the only young kid on the team that's fully there now. I mean,
yeah.
Nate Worth seemed to announce himself to the world. What was it, last week?
Yeah.
Against Charleston. I kept seeing that clip on like random Instagram reels and stuff. It was a good time. Yeah, it was doing numbers there. Tell me a little bit about what working with him has been like, because that must be kind of fun, right? Having another guy your age, another pro full-time guy come in, kind of, for me, seemingly, and I know James and I talked about this when we made that signing, kind of out of nowhere. How did that happen? Or maybe you don't tell us about exactly how that happened. I know, we can't reveal everything. But tell me about how it's been working with him on the team.
No, it's honestly been amazing. I love having him at trainings, and me and him have definitely grown a nice little friendship. We hang out all the time outside of training. Away trips, we're roommates, so it's fun. We definitely have a lot of things in common. We're pretty good friends.
That's awesome.
I like to hear that. That is kind of like a good sign of bonding for people.
Yeah,
obviously, like Carlos said, just perfect age group on the team to do that.
Yeah, we're both those sevens, so it fits perfectly.
Oh,
That's
wow.
crazy.
Okay.
James, do you
Didn't
feel
realize.
old?
Yeah, I was gonna try to avoid that, but we'll
It's okay.
we'll leave it there for the time
I'll
being.
speak the
But
elephant in the room. I'll put it out into the world.
yeah,
James, I won't take any of the U20 CONCACAF questions because I know you're kind of a nerd for the world of CONCACAF soccer and the world outside of the Rowdies. I won't save any of that, but I do, Christian, personally, I love hearing about kind of the relationship you and Nate have. I think we've talked about this a lot about kind of this new era of the Rowdies, like truly giving the young kids a ton of opportunity.
yeah.
Again, not really looking at you or Nate as like the young kids, but truly like serious contributors on this team. On a personal level, I think it's really fun to hear about not only how well you guys are doing on the team, but like how well the relationship looks off the field as well. So I think I speak for everyone when I can say I appreciate that insight for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah. So now that the CONCACAF Under-20 Championship is over, we won't talk about the final game. Personally, I will avoid that one. But
Yeah,
at the moment, I wanted to get into the discussion with you about the Dominican Republic. Now, as you said, you were born in New York, so I'm assuming that you were eligible through your parents or somewhere familially, and then got in touch with the federation, or maybe they got in touch with you. How did that process go down that you ended up representing them here?
Well, first I want to say it was an honor to represent them. Obviously, it's an amazing feeling to represent my country and my father's country. That's how I have citizenship for them now. He was born in Dominican Republic, and then he moved over when he was 8 to the United States in New York. But yeah, I first, it was a couple months ago when the head coach contacted me and my father, and then after that we started the process of getting my passport and my cellular. Everything got processed a couple weeks before the tournament, so that's pretty much it. It was a couple months before the tournament started, though. Everything got in contact.
Gotcha. Okay. Were you too familiar with any of the players on the team? I don't know if you had known any of them before. No. Okay. Gotcha. So this was meeting them all for the first time.
Yeah, I knew some of the players, like Israel Boatwright. He plays for Inter Miami. Lucas Breton. He plays at Cebao, Dominican Republic, a team in Dominican Republic. There's some very good quality players on that team.
Yeah, I actually remember from the CONCACAF U20 Championship 2 years ago, whenever it was, that the Dominican Republic made it to the final.
Yeah,
They lost to the U.S. there, but I know Jordi Alvarez, I think, was on that team as well, and he was playing alongside Angel Montes de Oca, who then played for the Olympic team for the Dominican Republic. So it was all very cool to see that even some of those players have returned, and it just seems at the same time like there's been a bit of an uptick, at least as far as I can see, in the talent that's coming out of the Dominican.
Yeah, there is. It's a lot of proper footballers coming out of there. There's a lot of quality. There's a lot of quality coming out of there. Yeah.
And do you speak Spanish fully?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Manuel Artiaga, he's helping me a lot, but.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm also in the process of learning Spanish, and I'm using RBLR Ortiz to help myself there. But
James, let's give everybody some practice. Let's just do Spanish for the rest of this interview. How about that?
I'm not prepared for that one.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
Christian, the next question I had for you, I don't want to go into detail about every game here because that would be a pretty exhaustive interview. But I did want to ask you about one game specifically because it seemed to me like it was the game that you guys had possibly the best chance of winning. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. But it was also the craziest game for me because of the conditions. So the first one you played against El Salvador, it was a 1-0 loss. I don't have stats or anything, but it seemed like you guys were creating chances just over and over and over. And it was in anyone listening, you're not going to believe how ridiculous it was. It was a torrential downpour of rain, puddles on the field that were preventing you guys from playing. Can you walk me through? Yeah. Please walk me through how that game went for you guys and also just your perspective afterwards, because it almost seemed to me like that one shouldn't have been played.
Yeah, it was the first half. The first half was fine. We created so many chances. We just couldn't capitalize on it, and that's fine. That's how football is. And then second half, the rain started to pour down really, really hard. And then the next couple minutes into the second half is just puddles everywhere. People starting to try and dribble and then getting stuck, and then counterattacks happening, and then they get stuck, and then it keeps going back and forth. But yeah, it was a pretty hectic game.
Yeah, I felt for you guys out there. I was definitely rooting for you to pull that one out, but it's also difficult when you're playing in such crazy conditions. Like I said, I don't know that game should have gone ahead, but it seems to me I guess that one was in Mexico, obviously, where the tournament was held. But if that was in Florida or something, we definitely would have had lightning and the game would have been shut down.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
it's too bad ultimately in the end. But now that the tournament is over and the Dominican Republic did not get probably as far as you guys would have liked, what are your takeaways from this tournament going forward for representing your country and moving along, hopefully in the higher age levels? Well, I guess you're still U20 eligible even for the next round.
Yeah. So next round we already talked about. I was the only 07 on the team. So I technically would be the only one eligible for the next U20 CONCACAF championship. But I think that I need to be a little bit more prepared. I wasn't as prepared as I thought it was going to be in Mexico. The conditions and everything, everything was just a lot different. It's way different than playing here in the States, especially with the Rowdies, and then going to the U20 Dominican team. But I'm really excited for what's to come in that aspect of my career with the national team. I would love to play for the U23s in the next Olympics, maybe, or whatever next tournament might come up.
That's really cool.
I mean, that would be awesome. And I know that the Dominican is also trying to recruit a couple of dual nationals that they had called up for the Olympics, and for this reason or that, they weren't there. But it was still a very good showing from them. So as I said, whenever it was, I think that the Dominican Republic at this point is just improving leaps and bounds in terms of soccer. I know it's mostly a baseball country, but they are really coming along very quickly in soccer.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Cristian, that's got to be insanely validating. I know we've talked a lot about the tournament itself, but I just want to ask you about how you were feeling when you got that call, by the way, from the U20 coach, when you first even heard notice that this might be a possibility. That's got to be pretty validating, putting in all that work. I mean, you got your professional contracts very recently, obviously with the Rowdies, and then you get this call up from the U20 Dominican Republic team. Tell me, how was that? How was that conversation? How did you react? How did your family react? I mean, just some of the emotions behind that, some of the human side. How was that like?
Yeah, it was good. I was at Publix actually, and then he called, and then my dad and I talked to him a little bit, and then it was nice. It was a good feeling knowing that my country wanted me to play for them. And then when the list came out, it was right after training, and then everyone congratulated me. So it was good. Awesome. It was really nice.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I know. Obviously, James and I and all the Rowdies fans, everybody that keeps up with this team, loves seeing our players go out and represent their countries, wherever that is, whatever level. I know everybody's really excited. I'm sure you saw the traction that tweet got when the Rowdies put out that you were representing your team. I know everybody was excited about that. That's really, really cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. Like James said, I think it's really fun to know that a country like Dominican Republic is making, like you said, serious leaps and bounds in the world of soccer. And I think it's really cool you can get to be a part of that. And by the way, I don't think we've mentioned this. You mentioned that you were the only 07 on the team. Just to reiterate that, you were the baby on the team, right? You were the youngest on the team. That's impressive stuff. And I think it's really cool to see that, get to represent the Rowdies a little bit on the international stage. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, of course.
On a personal level. Yeah. James, do you want to ask anything else about the U20 stuff before we move on and talk a little bit about the rest of the year with the Rowdies now that we're back home and, in the midst of the whole season?
Well, I could go on and on, but I don't want to keep Cristian until 9, 10 at night. So I'll turn it over to you, Carlos. We'll get back to the Rowdies this season.
Cool. Yeah. Like you said, I'd love to talk about this forever too, but Cristian, okay. Tough result this weekend, was back and forth. I mean, we can talk about that game forever and maybe what did or did not happen towards the end of that game. But looking ahead, we're a little over halfway through the year, right? There's still plenty of soccer to be played. We're right on the tails of the teams ahead of us in the Eastern Conference. How do you feel about where the team is as a whole? And then let's talk about where you feel you are in terms of how much you've grown this year. So let's start with the team as a whole. Where do you feel like the team is right now? Are you happy with where we're at? Do you think we should be a little bit further ahead, or how are you feeling?
Well, I think that the team, as a team at training and at games, prior to the games, everything, I think we're one of the best teams in the league, 100%. I think that sometimes we get unfortunate with the results, but no matter what, I think we fight until that final whistle, and I think that we definitely have unfinished business for the rest of the season. So I'm really excited for what's to come.
That's great. And then looking ahead rest of the year, you've had some serious minutes on the team already. I'm sure there's more in store for you, more opportunities, more chances for that goal. Where do you feel like you are on the team right now? Do you feel happy with how much progression you made? Obviously, you made that jump to the pro world. Where do you feel like you've grown? And looking ahead, where do you feel like there's space to grow still?
No, I feel like I have grown a lot since I even started, like with my academy contract, or last year when I trained with them. I think that everything's working out the way it's supposed to, and I definitely have room to grow, but without a doubt, it will grow.
That's awesome. Okay, like we said, plenty of soccer left to play the second half of the season. Are there any games you have marked on the schedule, games you're really particularly excited about, games that you've been waiting to play all year? What are some matches you're looking ahead to that you're like, man, this is one that's going to be a barn burner?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I want to play Louisville away. That's definitely going to be an exciting one. And I want to play. I don't know about for the rest of the season, but playoffs. I'm really excited for playoff season.
Nice. Yeah, I think we all are. We're always excited for playoff season. The chance to win hardware, James. I know you and I are always excited about that. Okay. James, anything else you want to throw in here before we start to wrap up and not take up too much of Cristian Ortiz's time before another big game this weekend at a team we've come to know pretty well, Phoenix Rising?
Yeah, no, I won't take up too much of your time. The only thing I'll say is, Cristian, the next time the Dominican U20s have a penalty, maybe they should let you take it. Just throw that out there. Not throwing any shade, but I'll just put that out there. Maybe your striker taking a penalty makes sense. The only other thing I'll say is, if any of the Dominican players are looking to jump to the next level, put them in touch with Robbie Nielsen. I think that'd be cool. We get some more hookup there, and we get some players coming over and playing in Tampa Bay.
Of course, I definitely will let them know.
Yeah, a little pipeline. That'd be exciting. Okay, last question. I like to throw in a random question here before we wrap things up. Who has the worst music taste on the team? This is important.
Oh man. I probably have to say Nate. Nate's
Damn.
Ooh. Okay.
Throwing shade at his best friend on the team. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth. Your best friend, at your coworker.
At your coworker, yeah.
That's messed up. I'm gonna let Nate know you said that. That's crazy. Okay, Cristian. I know it's been a pleasure for me to talk to you. I know we got the chance to talk a few times since you've been on the Rowdies, and truly, it's been great getting to know you a bit, getting to have you on this team, and having that youth influence is really, really great stuff on this team. So,
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for coming on RBLR Sports. We always love when we can talk to players at any point in their career, and you were just getting started. So I hope that we can do more of these interviews.
Big things coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.